A Hillary Clinton aide firing back after criticism over the lack of news conferences on her behalf. It has been 180 days since the last official press conference. That was in Fort Dodge, Iowa, December 4th. Her spokesman saying that Clinton still makes sure to get in lots of screen time on the trail every day.
There's no reluctance in terms of a definition of calling something an availability versus a press conference. Oftentimes it's just defined by whether you have a banner behind you or a podium in front of you. But the reality, bottom line, is that she's answering questions from the reporters that are covering her day to day.
So Howard Kurtz, Fox News media analyst and host of Media Buzz. How you doing, Howie? And good Sunday to you. He says no reluctance. Have you found otherwise, sir?
Well, the national reporters who spend a lot of time following Hillary Clinton around the country tell me that she almost never takes questions from them. She does talk to local reporters, of course. And while brief availabilities are fine, the fact that Hillary Clinton hasn't held a full-blown news conference this entire year is a statement. It's a statement that she wants to stay scripted. It's a statement that she doesn't want to be knocked off stride by confrontational questions. It's a statement that she doesn't really like engaging the press, except in carefully selected, carefully timed TV interviews.
So far, it hasn't hurt her, or has it?
I would argue that it has hurt her for this reason. What she has done is she has passed up many, many opportunities to make news by engaging the press. She doesn't need to talk to us because we're so lovable. It's an opportunity to use the megaphone. Bernie talks to the press a lot more than Hillary does, and I think she ceded the media battlefield to Donald Trump and reinforced the notion, fair or unfair, maybe unfair, that she is an overly scripted and hyper-cautious candidate.
Overcautious, yeah. So she would benefit in your view. But would that give reporters the chance to bang on about the server? And with an active investigation, you're concerned about every word you drop in an answer like that, Howie.
Sure, but I mean, look at all the controversies that Trump gets involved in, and he engages the press and he pushes back. And what happens is when you go a long stretch without doing an interview or holding a press conference, all the negative questions build up. So when you do one, the journalist feels compelled to go through the list of email and the latest Benghazi thing or whatever. I think it lets the pressure valve off when you do it more almost on a day-to-day basis, not every single day, obviously. So I would argue that she has forfeited a great opportunity here. She may be starting to adjust. She called into a couple of shows this past week on CNN, MSNBC. That's a Trump tactic, using the phone.
Yeah, you want to get the reps, right? you don't want to get rusty. Does she ride this out, or what would change her calculus, do you think?
What would change her calculus is that,
whether or not she would concede to that.
Is that, you know, Bernie Sanders aside, sending every signal that he's not going to concede even after Tuesday, it's pretty much of a one-on-one race, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. If Trump continues to do, 15 interviews a week, and he talks to newspapers, he talked to the New York Times while she was giving her foreign policy speech attacking him, then I think perhaps her team is coming to realize she actually does quite well in interviews, I believe, that maybe they need to drop this caution, put her out there a little bit more. It's a little risky, but there's a payoff.
Yeah. Topic 2. What have you noticed in mainstream media since the protests, the riots on Thursday night in California after that Trump event? How has it been reported, Howie?
It's been reported, but I am surprised it is not a bigger story. These protests, with violence often attached to them, is hardly a spontaneous outbreak. These people are organizing online. Some of them may be Bernie supporters. I don't think it's fair to say the Democrats are behind this or something like that. And I will say this, if you had organized groups using Facebook and other social media to go to Hillary Clinton press conferences or events and speeches, I should say, and disrupt and sometimes engage in violence, I think it would be such a bigger story, because there is this tendency in the media to say, well, maybe Trump kind of deserves it. He did say things a couple of months ago where he appeared to be egging this on, although he hasn't made those comments in quite a while.
The Trump protest 2 months ago, that was blanket coverage, you could argue. Has this been given the same, do you view?
No, I don't think it has. Maybe it was new and novel when he had to cancel that Chicago event and those things. It gets a lot of live coverage because everybody on cable gets their pictures up, tensions building outside this or that Trump rally. So there's that. But it seems to dissipate. Maybe we're getting more accustomed to it. But I do wonder whether or not, because there is some hostility toward Trump in the press, that's no secret, whether or not it is not a bigger story the way it undoubtedly would be if this kind of violent tactics, this kind of unacceptable violence, were aimed at the Democratic candidate.
Something for you to keep an eye on. Howie, thanks. Host of Media Buzz, there he is, Howard Kurtz. Thank you, Howard, from Washington today. You bet.